Good morning. This lesson is for my Integrated 1 class. This is Unit 3, Lesson 3. This is a supplemental lesson to help because I didn't save the zooms. I didn't have the setting done right, but this video will explain what that last Zoom lesson was about. But before I get started, I want to say I hope everybody is doing okay out there. So let's go over our 3 goals. We have 3 goals: rewriting tables with repeating numbers. We want to create an equation that represents the table, and then we want to verify the equation. Okay, so let's first identify how the y values are changing in our table. So the first row has 1 and 20, the second is 2 and 14, the third is 3 and 8, and the fourth is 4 and 2. And these y values, or the f of x values, are changing by subtracting 6. So minus 6, minus 6, minus 6. So that's how they're changing. And so what I want to do is I want to rewrite this table. So I write the value of 14 using the number 20 and the number 6 and somehow get a repeating number. So remember, the first row always stays the same. Okay? So whatever I have on the first row is what I'm going to have when I rewrite my table. The second row, I'm going to say I have 20 minus 1/6. So if I was to work this out, this would be 6 times 1, which is 6. 20 minus 6 is 14. This is still 14. It's just a different way to write it. But again, notice I don't have repeating numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that 1 and I'm going to replace it with a parenthesis. And I have to use the number 2 inside this parenthesis, but it has to equal to the value 1 because I'm taking away 1/6 when I go from 20 to 14. And the way that I'm going to make this value equal to 1 is I'm going to take 1 away from 2. So I still have the value 1. I'm still taking 1/6 away from 20, and I still have a value of 14. All right? So this is how we're going to write the table with repeating numbers. I have repeating numbers. Again, I use 20 in my third row. I have to take away 2 6s to go from 20 to 8. So then that's going to be minus 6 times 2. But 2 is not repeating with 3, so I have to get rid of that, and I replace it with a parenthesis. And remember, the parenthesis in this case has to equal 2, but I have to use 3. And again, I'm just going to subtract 1. So 3 subtract 1 is 2. I'm taking 2 6s away from 20, which gives me an 8. So this row is still the same. It just looks different. Okay, and I just imagine this is where you guys are struggling, because you know that there's 2 6s that you're taking away, but we have to write it like this so that I get repeating numbers. That's the key. I need repeating numbers here. Okay, so now on this row, to go from 20 to the first row to the fourth row, I have to take away 3 6s. So this now becomes 20 minus 6 times 3. But again, the 6 and the 3 and the 4 aren't repeating. So again, I'm going to replace that with a parenthesis. And I know that the parenthesis has to equal 3. But I have to use 4, and again, it's going to be 4 minus 1. This is 3, so I'm taking away 3 6s from 20, and that gives me to the value of 2. All right, so we're almost at the point now where we can write our equation. So I have enough information. Remember, all we have to do is replace the repeating numbers with x, and that is our equation. And so here are my repeating numbers: 2s, 3s, and 4s. Everything else is the same. Replace the repeating numbers with x. So what we're going to get now is we're going to get 20 minus 6, parenthesis, x minus 1. Okay, so I replaced the repeating numbers with x, and I kept everything else the same. Okay, so I'll write that down. Replace repeating numbers with x, and keep everything else the same. I hope that that's on the whiteboard. I'm having a heck of a time. Oh, keep everything the same. It's not working, but I will. Oh man. It says replace the repeating numbers with X and keep everything else the same. Did my camera shift? Okay, so we're going to lose the top of the screen, but you can now see what I just wrote. Okay, so here we go. My second goal now. My second goal is to write the equation that represents this table, and it's really easy to do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this expression, we're going to come up here, and we're going to say that that's equal to f of x is equal to 20 minus 6 x minus 1. That's all I have to do is I just set what I did here equal to f of x, and I wrote my equation. My third goal is, I think, pretty easy to accomplish. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a value for x, we're going to plug that in, and then we're going to work it out, and hopefully we get the value for y. I'm looking, what stands out to me is 3. So if I plug in 3, I should get 8. Okay, so I'll write that down. Plug in 3. And get 8. Okay. So remember, we do what's inside the parentheses, then we multiply, then we add. This is a short version of PEMDAS. Inside the parentheses, multiply and add. So everywhere I have an x is going to turn into a 3, and I get now f of 3 is equal to 20 minus 6 times 3 minus 1. And I'm going to erase what I have written down here. And I'm going to finish working this out. So inside the parentheses, 3 minus 1 becomes 2. So I'll highlight, that's where I did my work. So now I have 20 minus 6 times 2. Now I need to multiply, so I'll highlight that I'm multiplying. And now I get 20 minus 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so I did this parentheses, I did the multiplication, now I have to do the addition or subtraction. So now it's going to be 20 minus 12, that's going to give me the 8. So I plugged in 3 and I got 8. This means that we have a good equation. This is what the tests are going to be about. And again, this is a very important concept for the rest of the semester. So I hope that this video helps to clarify any questions or confusions that you might have. So I'm going to end that there. Again, I hope everybody has a good day. Bye-bye.